Hey Econ teachers, this is Clifford. I'm so excited about this video. I'm going to give you strategies and resources to help you teach virtually. A lot of teachers assume because of this whole YouTube thing that I'm a very tech-savvy teacher. I use a lot of new technology. When new stuff comes out, I'm using it all the time. But that's not the case. I'm actually kind of an old-fashioned guy. I do what works for me. And what works for me for the last 20 years has been PowerPoint. Now, I know a lot of teachers don't like PowerPoint. They think it's old-fashioned, but if you use it right, it's amazing. If you've seen my teacher resources, you know what I'm talking about. I'll have content and I'll switch to multiple choice questions or free responses or videos. It's all inside PowerPoint. It saves a lot of time because I don't have to open up other programs. And I use a lot of animations. So if I have a graph, I ask students, okay, what's gonna happen on the graph? And then I can show that shift on the next slide. Now, the best part about this is I don't have to redraw those graphs over and over again on my whiteboard. I can do it all on PowerPoint. So for me, for in-class instruction, PowerPoint totally works and I love it, but it doesn't have the same capabilities and the same strengths when you teach virtually. And that's why for COVID, for teaching online, I'm switching over from PowerPoint to Nearpod. First, let me tell you, I'm not getting paid by the Nearpod people. This is me just telling you about an amazing resource that I think is gonna be great for students and for your classroom. Nearpod is kind of like a PowerPoint because there's different slides and students have to do things, but it's also kind of like Kahoot because students have a code to get into a specific lesson. So you set the whole thing up and you get a code and you give it to your students, and there's two ways to set it up. There's a live participation version where students are going through with you. There's also a student-paced version where students are actually doing it on their own. They're both great, but the live version is awesome because you can control students' screens and send them through the slides of the actual lesson. Now you're probably thinking that's just like showing students a PowerPoint. It's the same thing, except it's not, because again, there's those engagement activities you put inside there that keep the students engaged and it holds them accountable. For example, you can poll students and ask them a question. It gives you all the results. You can share that with the students, or you can give them multiple choice questions, or you can give them matching questions. Regular PowerPoint doesn't have that. You can basically say, okay, try this multiple choice question, but you don't know their students' answers. You don't know if they're paying attention. You have nothing to back up that they're actually doing anything. On the other hand, Nearpod shows where students are, how they're progressing, and when they submit things, you can see what they've submitted. And here's where it gets good, particularly for teaching economics. I can assign a graph to my students. Everyone show me what happens to the demand, and students will draw that shift on Nearpod and then submit it, and I can see all their graphs. Like me, you probably have whiteboards in your classroom or have students draw on their table, so you can actually walk around and see how they're drawing graphs. But you can't do that with PowerPoint. You can't just do it on Zoom. But with Nearpod, I can see what students are drawing. And you can even share students' work with the class. Someone did a great job, you can show that. If someone made a mistake, you want to make sure everyone understands that they shouldn't do that, you can show that too. Again, it's just basically a PowerPoint that's better because it has more engagement. And recently they added a feature that allows you to embed a video, then ask questions that automatically stop the video that students have to answer, which makes the students pay attention to the videos that you assign. Now, I can really see myself using that more for flipping the classroom, so having students watch a video outside of class time, but verifying they're actually doing something by making them actually answer those questions. So that would be more for flipping the classroom. I wouldn't really be showing that many videos inside my Nearpods, but I gave them to you. Wait, what? I gave them to you? Yes, I'm making a Nearpod for every one of the topics in AP Macroeconomics, AP Microeconomics, and regular economics. So what I did is I took the PowerPoints from my teacher resources and I put them into Nearpod, added a bunch of different activities, and embedded the video so you actually use those, you don't have to make them yourself. And these are all gonna be a part of my AP Economics and case study worksheets. To be honest, you should be getting the worksheets anyways because they're amazing, but I've added these Nearpods because it's gonna make it seamless. You can actually take the worksheets, embed them in the Nearpod lessons, and then use those with your students. And again, I'm not talking about PDFs, I'm talking about digital versions. Remember, my new worksheets have digital versions, they're Google Forms where students can actually fill out the worksheet as they're in the Nearpod, as they're in the lesson. And because I really want you to see these things, I'm giving you all of Unit 1 for macro, micro, and regular economics, all for free. In the description below, I have a link to a mini course that talks about my resources, the worksheets, the ultimate review packet, my teacher resources, and inside there, it gives you sample worksheets and the Nearpod lessons for all of Unit 1. And I added some Nearpod tutorials so you can see the behind the scenes, how you make them and how you use them in an economics classroom. And again, this mini course is completely free, so you can go right now, take a look at the sample worksheets for micro, macro, and the case studies, and take a look at these Nearpod lessons. Why are you waiting? Go, get in there. So if you already ordered the worksheets, I'm gonna be uploading all of these new Nearpods so you have access to those and you can decide how you wanna use them in the classroom. And that's what I've been doing all summer, and I'll continue to do this entire year, is try to give you more resources resources to help you teach and learn and love economics. Thanks for watching. Until next time.